Similar for me. I had a great time this past one. They moved venues. SoCal Gaming Expo. It used to be called Retro Gaming Expo. That's why I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
correct myself. SoCal Gaming Expo last year in 2023 was in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's closer to my house than Pasadena, which is where they moved to this year. They actually went back to Pasadena because they used to be there before. Pasadena is just such a better venue. It is worth me driving the extra however many miles it is to get
Mm-hmm.
there. Pasadena is like perfect, dude. There's places to eat nearby. The venue itself is much larger. There's an entire another building that
Mm-hmm.
was not being used that they could potentially use in the future, but something else was booked, so they had no option to use it. I actually heard that about 70 vendors they had to turn away because they couldn't fit
Wow.
them in the venue. So if they had that other building, there would have been even more vendors. I really can't say anything bad. The improvements they made this year are massive. You guys can check out. I wrote an article about it on enthusiast.com. You can go check it out over there. I did a walkthrough video, of the convention to give you guys a feel for it on our YouTube page. So if you look up SoCal Gaming Expo 2024, you'll find it there. So I'm not going to go into all my thoughts, but yeah, check out the article. That'll give you guys more of the massive improvements that they made. They just did such a better job with it all around. Like, no disrespect to anybody that put it on in Ontario, but I felt that there was a ton of room for improvement. And I wrote an article in 2023 about it. And basically, everything I wanted to see them improve was improved this year. So I was extremely impressed. If I had any kind of critiques for them, I would just say that they did have panels. There was known people on the panels. I think the week they picked was really it was too close to too many games, honestly, and a lot of the big names showed up at too many games from like the YouTube sphere, the gaming, the retro gaming sphere that would have probably gone to both just because it was only like I think it was like 2 weeks apart or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So people were like, "Oh well, I'm just going to go to too many games. I'm not going to go to SoCal." So I think they could if they just spread it out a little bit more, um, that would have been better for them. But yeah, it is away from Portland. Portland's in October now, so that's cool. I think they just need to separate a little bit from too many games, and they'll get a lot more bigger names there, just to have like more people on panels and stuff, and that'll bring more attention to it and make it grow even more.
Yeah, that was the one thing I didn't see any panels. I know they had them because they were on the schedule, but I didn't see them.
I know
And
that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say, and one of the things that I would definitely do differently is I would go more than one day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely go more than one day because of work. I was only able to go like the one day. I would definitely go if not all 3 days, definitely 2 days.
Yeah, 3 days I feel like is a lot. Like SoCal, I think is perfect. It's 2 days. It's Saturday, Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and Saturday is usually busier. There's more people there. There's usually more stuff happening. Sundays are probably a better day to buy stuff. Overall, and we'll get into that why that is in just a little
Mm-hmm.
while. Um, 3 days is a lot. I don't think I've ever. No, I've never done one of these for 3 days. I've only ever done 2 day ones. And I mean, yeah, there's stuff to do, but after 2 days, I don't know that I would. I mean, there could be different panels and stuff, which would be interesting, but
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't just be shopping for 3 days straight. Maybe 2 days, but not definitely not three.
Well, when I go to Comic Cons, I'll usually go multiple days.
Yeah,
I'll usually go multiple days, especially New York, because you'll have panels and screenings all 4 days.
yeah. So you have
And
different stuff to do, and you're in and out of things.
exactly,
That makes
exactly.
sense.
So to see everything, and if you're trying to get into panels because you're going to be in line, and the panels are like an hour or so, and you need multiple days to see everything. Too many
That makes sense.
games isn't as big, but I definitely would like to have another day because there was definitely stuff I did not see or I missed.
Hmm.
Some vendors that I overlooked that I wanted to go back to, then I didn't. So definitely, I 2 days next year for sure.
Yeah, I think 2 days is perfect for like the shopping experience, and maybe you get a couple panels and things like that. If I did have a third day, what I would do is probably spend more time actually playing games there, like playing those older systems,
Mm-hmm.
playing the arcade machines, because that's something. Even though they're there and I enjoy them, I really don't have a lot of time to do it because of the stuff I do for an enthusiast. My entire first day is work. It's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
shooting videos, I'm writing stuff, I'm it really feels like a full day of work, and then I'm editing until the wee hours of the night. The second day is more for me, where I'm actually like shopping. Granted, I am doing some shopping the first day too. That is happening, but I'm way more focused on myself because my work is done at that point. So the second day is
Mm-hmm.
really just for me. And having a third day would mean, I have a day for work, a day for shopping, and a day for whatever the hell I want to do. Like play arcade games, check
Mm-hmm.
out a 3DO or some weird stuff. If Rock Band was there, I definitely would have played it. Like that would have been cool. They had a skate ramp at ours, man. It was awesome. It felt like the 1990s, man. There was like a little mini half pipe there. So people were skateboarding. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like that was pretty cool. I haven't seen that before. Um, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else out of the norm that was there, and I don't think so. I mean, it was pretty standard, but it was just so much more organized than the year before, and I don't know. I was just really happy with it. They had new owners this year. I hope
Mm-hmm.
you know. I'm confident those guys are going to continue to stick with it. I think they had a blast making it, and I think they probably made a good amount of money from it too. I'd imagine.
Do you know how many was in attendance?
I don't. I'm not sure,
Because
but
I know too many games like announced like last year they had 20,000 in attendance,
oh wow,
and they were looking to do at least 25 this year. So
okay,
that was their goal. So they just said that it keeps growing.
man, we were far stretching back in the day. I mean, I went to the third Philly Classic, which I might have I know I mentioned this to Wes before. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast, but the Philly Classic was like the precursor to too many games. Like this was years and years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the third one. So there was only two before then, and there was like I don't even know how to describe this, Wes. It was like a like I don't even a VFW hall like sized thing, with like some vendors and like
Mm-hmm.
I mean. GameStop was there for some reason. I don't know why. I don't think they were selling anything. I think they were just promoting like GameStop, and they were giving people like bags to put their stuff in. But I don't recall there being any panels. This was probably like pre YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
or at least before anybody did anything on YouTube. Like this was a long time ago. I just thought it was cool because I never heard of anything like that before. Which even at that time it was still fairly new. But they had all old stuff, dude. Like you go there, there should be tons of like Atari,
Yeah.
NES, some Super Nintendo, Genesis. Um, but this time it was probably like the early to mid 2000s, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go back and look at the date. I don't remember. So the stuff that was current wasn't there. It was all stuff from the 80s, the 90s, stuff from the 70s was there. Which now you don't even really. I mean, I did see some Atari stuff, but for the most part, it's NES and up, like at these venues.
Yeah, yeah. It's just more and more people. That's the one thing that I like open my eyes to. I knew a lot of people like video games. I didn't know how many people like video games.
Yeah.
Man, a lot of people are into video games. A lot
It's
more
bigger
than
than the
I.
movies.
It definitely. Oh yeah, definitely bigger than the movies. It was more than I imagined. You
Yeah, if you
know,
guys go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, I'm saying I still think of us as a small little niche group. How it used to be. It was like our exclusive club, but it blew wide open.
Yeah. I mean, it has multiple times, I would say. Think about
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, like, people played like NES, Genesis, stuff like that. And then, PlayStation hit really hard and that, like,
Mm-hmm.
swarmed a whole group of people, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then, PS2 got even more people. Like, PlayStation had a big deal to, like, really turn games around,
They
mature
did.
games. And I could say the same thing about Xbox, especially the 360 era,
Mm-hmm.
brought in, like, swaths of people, and Nintendo's been the cornerstone the entire time, just like family friendly game, like the games you grew up with for every generation for the past four, I mean, I know Nintendo's like over 100-year-old company. It goes back to like a bunch of stuff or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but like for video games, like over 40 years or something, like that's crazy, man.
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
it was nice to see. It was nice to see.
Yeah, I recommend if you guys get a chance, go. There are still some conventions this year. I know Southern Fried Gaming Expo is coming up pretty soon. I think that's the one in Florida or South Carolina, North Carolina. It's one of the Carolinas, I think. There's another one in Florida too. It has a different name. Those are coming up. I think Long Island Retro Gaming Expo hasn't happened yet. But yeah, there's definitely some more. Portland's obviously the biggest one. That's going to be in October. That kind of like
Mhm.
is almost like the end cap of the year. Like that's there are still some ones in November, but
Mhm.
really Portland is like the last big one.
I would do the one in Long Island.
I heard that one's awesome, man. I heard that one is awesome. Never been though. They
Yeah,
do it in
I
like
would
a
do that one.
space, an air and space museum, dude.
Really?
Yeah, it's dude. Go look at some videos. It's awesome. It's so cool.
Okay. I would definitely check that one out.
Yeah, you like your not quite, but your old stomping grounds to an extent,
Nah,
right?
exactly.